My boyfriend of 1 year went missing on Valentine's Day. Until someone sent me a photo. Nice outfit today. Where are you two celebrating? In the picture, a woman in a pale yellow dress sat in a car with her back to the camera. My boyfriend turned his head, smiling with unmistakable tenderness. In the distance, a neon sign flashed boldly. Second drink half price for Valentine's Day. But that woman wasn't me. Chapter 1. My chest felt unbearably tight as I picked up my phone and called him. After a long, drawn-out dial tone, someone finally answered. It was quiet on his end, too quiet. Like it was deliberate. I'm busy. What is it? Over the past year, I had heard those exact words from him countless times. Turning me away had become second nature to him. I knew he was brushing me off. Still, I took a deep breath and said carefully, "Today is Valentine's Day. We agreed to have dinner together." As I spoke, I sat in front of the mirror, my makeup flawless, wearing a brand new white off-shoulder dress. My eyes were already red. "We'll see. I'm working overtime." He hung up. The call screen disappeared, revealing that enlarged photo again. The woman, holding a bouquet of roses nearly as tall as her, was kissing my boyfriend. I suddenly burst into tears. I called my best friend, choking as I said, "Noah is spending Valentine's Day with Laura." The woman in the photo was my colleague. Last month, when Noah came to pick me up from work, Laura had come out with me and ran into him. Noah, tall and broad-shouldered, casually wrapped an arm around me and asked, "Hey, is that your co-worker?" I nodded. Laura, poised and confident, reached out her hand and introduced herself. I had no idea how the two of them ended up together, but over the past 2 weeks, Laura had been bringing homemade lunchboxes to work every day. Whenever someone asked, she would smile sweetly and say, "Oh, my boyfriend made it." It sparked a wave of envy among the girls in the office. Laura once asked me with a smile, "Joanna, how come your boyfriend never cooks for you?" I secretly envied her. When I got home, I hinted at it indirectly to Noah, but he shut me down with one sentence. "I've been really busy lately. How about I just order takeout for you? You're a bit too skinny anyway. Stop dieting, okay?" Noah kept his word. Every day, meals were delivered to me right on time, far more lavish than Laura's lunchboxes. Each one even came with a handwritten note filled with sickeningly sweet love messages. My coworkers started envying me instead, until one day, when I passed by a restaurant downstairs, a waiter handed me a small card that read, "Couple meal subscriptions available." That's when I realized Noah only needed to pay $3,000, fill in my address, and didn't have to do anything else. My world collapsed. I couldn't hold back. I took a photo of the card, sent it to him, and added a single question mark. He didn't reply for 3 days. It was like he had vanished from the world. Meanwhile, Laura kept posting her lovingly made lunch boxes on social media every single day, and I fell into a vicious cycle. It always started with Noah giving me the cold shoulder, then me lowering myself to beg for reconciliation, taking all the blame, then him gently asking me to understand how hard his work was. And finally, we would make up like nothing ever happened. I was exhausted. My best friend had scolded me more than once over the phone, calling me a simp, saying I was being emotionally manipulated and still throwing myself at him. But I had secretly loved him for years, and after finally being by his side for 1 year, I knew what he was like when he was gentle. A guy like him, ambitious, good-looking, praised by everyone. How could he be bad? Noah had taken me to watch the sunrise, ride camels, and spend nights in ancient towns. One late night, when I told him I missed him, he dropped everything, booked a flight back, held me tightly with concern, and kissed me under the dazzling fireworks at Disney. We had too many beautiful memories. I refused to believe they were fake, until my best friend sent me screenshots of his chat with someone else. In the screenshot, Noah said jokingly, "I've never even slept with her. Why would you think we're together?" When I saw that sentence, it felt like a knife twisting in my heart. Thinking back carefully, Noah had never once said, "We're together." One late night, I had asked him over the phone, "Noah, what exactly am I to you?" He answered with a question, "What do you think?" "I'll come find you." That night, Emboldened by alcohol, I had already gotten dressed and was about to head out. Then he paused on the other end. My place is messy, not very convenient. Later, the person who told me everything said bluntly, Noah said he's just not attracted to you. At that moment, in the dark room, I looked at the couples downstairs holding roses. Suddenly, I felt like I should do something. On the other end of the phone, my best friend was still rambling on. I wiped my tears and asked, "Don't you have that event recently?" "What event?" "The one where people meet others." She paused, then said, "Oh, a singles mixer? Plenty of good-looking guys there. Interested?" "Yeah." Chapter 2. When my best friend came to pick me up, her eyes lit up. "Joanna, you've finally come to your senses. Doesn't this look great on you?" I reapplied my makeup, covering the redness around my eyes. I also deliberately set my phone to silent. Tonight's mixer was held at a chill lounge bar. When we walked in, someone had already booked a booth. There were both men and women. She casually pushed me forward. "My girl here, single and ready to mingle." I wanted to refuse, but the words got stuck in my throat. I pulled myself together and gave everyone a shy smile. "Joanna, nice to meet you all." Everyone welcomed me warmly. The lively atmosphere eased the heaviness in my chest, and I suddenly felt more alive. My friend squeezed me into the middle seat, placing me right next to a man so close that our arms inevitably brushed whenever we reached for drinks. Even in the dim lighting, I could clearly see his face. The kind of unreal, almost too perfect to exist kind of handsome, sharp features, but with a distant, untouchable aura. Someone next to me introduced him. "Gregory. Works at our hospital. Currently single, pretty lady. You should consider him." "A doctor?" That actually fit. His temperament really did resemble someone refined and aloof, like an unattainable ideal. It made sense he didn't have a girlfriend. Just then, there was a commotion nearby. Someone bumped into me, causing me to stumble forward. Gregory steadied me by holding my shoulders. My face instantly flushed. When he spoke, his voice was gentle and pleasant. "Move a little closer this way. It's crowded over there." No one around us seemed to notice. I awkwardly shifted slightly to the side and saw Gregory hand me a bottle of juice. "It's unopened." "Don't worry." His fingers were long and slender, beautiful. Even. I stared at the juice in his hand, then suddenly smiled. "Thanks. But, do you have alcohol?" Gregory paused for a moment, then smiled faintly. "The drinks over there have been sitting for a while. What would you like?" "I'll order a fresh one for you." Suddenly, I remembered Noah had brought me here before. Back then, he had casually grabbed a drink, pushed it toward me, and kissed me lightly. "Just a sip is enough. Don't drink too much." I was already in a low mood, thinking about the past. I don't know where I found the courage. Something strong. Gregory looked at me steadily, then suddenly turned and called out, "Amy, can you take her home later?" Amy, my best friend, was known for holding her liquor. She replied, "Oh, my boyfriend's picking me up. I can drop her off on the way." Gregory nodded and told the waiter, "One sea breeze, please." I stopped him. "Don't trick me. Switch it to a Jaeger bomb." Gregory frowned. "That's too strong for you. You won't know if it suits me until I try." There was a lump of frustration stuck inside me. I gave the waiter a determined look. 5 minutes later, I picked up the small brown glass and downed it in one go. Gregory watched me closely, his dark eyes unmoving. "Are you sure you can handle that?" My throat burned, but the alcohol hadn't fully hit yet. Meanwhile, a new game had already started at the table, truth or dare. Gregory and I were dragged into it. For the first few rounds, we were lucky and avoided getting picked. But gradually, the alcohol started kicking in, and the whole world began to sway. My friend suddenly nudged me. "It's your turn." I forced my eyes open and saw the pointer stop right in front of me. Dare. I made my choice almost instantly. They say alcohol makes people speak their truth. If I embarrassed myself here and word got back to Noah, it would just give him another reason to look down on me. Amy picked up a card, glanced at it, and exclaimed excitedly, "The punishment is, kiss one of the guys here." This kind of dare had become a common icebreaker among young people. The cheering almost lifted the roof. I looked around and had no choice but to grab Gregory's arm and ask, "Can I kiss you?" Gregory paused for a moment, then smiled lightly. "Sure." Amid the crowd's cheering, I closed my eyes and leaned in, my lips touching his, cool and soft. In that moment, all my senses were amplified. Something felt off. I suddenly opened my eyes and saw Gregory's lowered gaze, his long eyelashes, his smooth skin. I shivered. Sobering up halfway, the room fell silent. Someone awkwardly laughed. "Ah." Gregory's first time in a place like this. He doesn't know the rules. Ha ha ha, doesn't know the rules. I quickly stepped back, my ears burning. Gregory touched his lips, frowning slightly in confusion. I pointed at my cheek, embarrassed. Usually, people just kiss on the cheek. Chapter 3. I didn't expect him to actually kiss my lips. In the darkness, I couldn't see his expression clearly. The music on stage switched to something light and upbeat. Gregory cleared his throat and turned his head away. "It's nothing. Let's keep going." After that little incident, the way others looked at me and Gregory carried a hint of ambiguity. On the contrary, the two of us sat there like perfectly proper people, upright and distant, as if an invisible line had been drawn between us. The alcohol still hadn't worn off. Gregory occasionally passed me fruit, but completely ignored my requests for more drinks. Around 9 o'clock, my phone suddenly lit up. I unlocked the screen, and my hand trembled. Over 40 missed calls, all from Noah. I shot to my feet. Under Gregory's puzzled gaze, I stammered, I need to take this outside." My emotions were a mess. On Valentine's Day, he had coldly rejected me earlier, and now at 9 at night, he was blowing up my phone like crazy. You'd have to be seriously out of your mind to pull something like this. Right now, curiosity outweighed any excitement. With that strange sense of anticipation, I called Noah back. He picked up immediately, amid the noise on his end. His tone was harsh. "Where the hell have you been?" "I got into a car accident. I'm at the hospital. I don't have enough money. Get over here now." I froze. For once, I didn't anxiously ask if he was hurt. Instead, the words slipped out. "Where's Laura? Is she hurt too?" The line suddenly went silent. "Noah, I'm in so much pain." Laura answered that question for him. I tightened my grip on the phone, took a deep breath, and listened as Noah said, "Joanna, listen to me, we just ran into each other by coincidence. Where are you? How much do you need?" Noah hesitated, then said apologetically, "People's Hospital Emergency Room, 8,000, cash." I leaned against the wall, my head spinning. "You don't have a single dollar on you?" "No, both of us, it's not enough." I let out a soft "oh." "Take care of yourself. I'll be there soon. Wait for me." After hanging up, I stared at my phone for a while. Then suddenly, I pulled out the SIM card and threw it hard into the distance. Idiot! The cool night breeze lifted my hair. For the first time, I felt completely refreshed. The back door creaked open behind me. Gregory stepped out, already putting on his coat. He was even taller than Noah, leaning against the wall. The top of my head barely reached his Adam's apple. He smiled faintly. "You should go back in. I need to head back to the hospital." A thought suddenly clicked in my mind. People's Hospital? Gregory finished putting on his coat and gave a light nod. "Yeah. Give me your phone." I handed it over, confused. Lowering his head, his long fingers quickly dialed a number and made a call. "This is my number. If you ever need a doctor, you can contact me." He stopped midway, then looked up hesitantly. "You don't carry a SIM card with you when you go out?" I slapped my forehead, remembering that the couple's SIM card tied to Noah had just been thrown into a sewer. Embarrassed, I said, "My phone got stolen a few days ago. I haven't had time to replace the card yet." Gregory suddenly sighed. "First time I wanted to give someone my number, and I can't even do it." Seeing his troubled expression, I suddenly said, "Dr. Gregory, my stomach hurts." He paused. "You're getting into character pretty fast, aren't you?" I held my stomach and said softly, "I haven't eaten all day. It really hurts. I want to go to the hospital with you." Gregory's relaxed expression instantly turned serious. Without another word, He picked me up in his arms, hailed a taxi, and got us inside. Half an hour later, supported by Gregory, I stood in the emergency hall of People's Hospital. Chapter 4. Even at night, the emergency department was still packed shoulder to shoulder. As Gregory helped me register, doctors kept giving him curious looks. "Gregory, what are you doing here?" He greeted his colleagues casually and replied in an even tone. "A friend's sick. I'm here with her. Not bad, she's pretty. Don't talk nonsense." That was when I found out Gregory worked in neurosurgery. He had originally come back to his department to pick up some materials, yet now he was here in the ER with me instead. Standing at the back of the line, I endured waves of stomach pain and said, "You should go do your work. I can handle this myself." Without saying anything, Gregory gently pulled me closer to his side, guiding me away from the crowded flow of people. "It's fine, I'm not in a rush." For a moment, I felt dazed. After being with Noah for a year, it was always him getting sick and me rushing to take care of him. When I got sick myself, I was used to going to the hospital alone, getting 4 drips by myself. I had always told myself I was fine on my own. But at this moment, I suddenly realized, having someone by your side felt nice. Gregory methodically led me through the examinations. The diagnosis, acute gastroenteritis. While I was getting an injection, a hurried voice suddenly cut in from the side. "Joanna, I'm here." I turned my head. Noah stood there, a cut on his forehead still bleeding. His left hand was wrapped in bandages, while his right hand held up in 4 drip for Laura. "Joanna, the money?" His tone softened, returning to that familiar gentleness he always used on me. I glanced at my small shoulder bag, still hanging from Gregory's broad shoulder, and was about to speak, but Gregory naturally took the 4 bottle from the nurse and held it up for me instead. "She doesn't have money," he said calmly. "Huh?" Noah's expression instantly turned complicated. I could practically see him hesitating between your real brother, your cousin, your distant cousin, before finally asking, "You're a relative?" To be honest, my relationship with Gregory was complicated. At best, we were friends. Friends who had kissed. If I said that out loud, it would sound like I was flaunting it to Noah. "Look, I kissed another man, you trash." That would be beneath me. But the urge for revenge grew wildly in my mind. I stared at Noah and said calmly, "I'm pursuing him." At that moment, aside from Laura, whose eyes lit up with excitement, everyone else looked at me in shock, including Gregory's colleagues passing by. Noah froze for a second, then suddenly laughed. "Joanna, stop joking. Go pay first. Once I get my stitches, I'll take you home." Even now, he hadn't noticed the 4-needle in my hand, that I was staying here tonight for observation. Gregory's colleague interrupted us, holding some scans. "Gregory, I'm swamped. Can you take a look at these 2 minor cases? Rear-end collision, head impact, nothing serious. I'll treat you to dinner another day." He shoved 2 brain CT scans into Gregory's hands, patted his shoulder, then turned to Noah and Laura. "Neurosurgeon, top tier. You can't even get an appointment with him usually." The implication was clear. You 2 just got incredibly lucky. Noah's expression turned stiff and unpleasant, while Laura's eyes lit up. Gregory lifted the scans and glanced at them briefly. "It's fine. Just a couple of stitches later and you can leave." "My head hurts so much," Laura said sweetly, almost coquettishly. "Can you do the stitches for me?" My stomach churned violently. Gregory's colleague looked surprised when he heard that and said, "When Gregory makes a move, he goes straight to opening a skylight in someone's head. Little girl, don't mess around, this minor injury of yours. Just go to the suturing room." I tilted my head up and asked, "What does opening a skylight mean?" Gregory paused for a moment and gently explained, "A craniotomy." Chapter 5. Only then did Noah seem to snap back to his senses. "I'm Joanna's boyfriend. I haven't met you before. Want to add each other on WeChat? Or at least exchange numbers? I should properly thank you for taking care of Joanna." He really never missed a single chance to expand his network. Gregory replied, "Sorry, I don't use WeChat, and there's no need for a phone number." I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. Gregory's colleague frowned and pointed at Noah and Laura. "Wait a second, what exactly is your relationship?" Isn't she your girlfriend? Noah looked awkward. Slip of the tongue. His colleague's face turned livid. I just asked who the family member was, and you had her sign the consent form. Are you messing around? Then he looked down at me. Miss, are you his girlfriend? I waved my hand and smiled. No, I'm not his girlfriend. Don't listen to him. Noah looked like he'd just seen a ghost. Before he could question me further, the doctor dragged him away to deal with the paperwork. Meanwhile, Gregory led me to a quiet, more secluded bed to lie down. His tall frame squeezed into the cramped space with me, and for some reason, it made my heart race. I said softly, Dr. Gregory, you should go take care of your work. I'm feeling much better. I didn't want Noah and Laura to keep bothering him over trivial matters. Gregory answered a phone call and suddenly stepped out. Just when I thought he had left, he came back again, placing a warm bag into my arms. The millet porridge is still warm, drink it later. The water's hot too. Take your medicine. There are tissues in the bag. He paused, still seeming a bit concerned. Then he called out to his colleague. Help me keep an eye on her. Her phone's broken. If anything happens, contact me directly. The tall doctor agreed readily. You're a person? I'll make sure she's well taken care of. Then he nodded toward me. I'm Tony. If you need anything, just come to me. Gregory shot him a warning look, and Tony immediately fell silent. Gregory left in a hurry. He must have had something urgent. As for Tony, he wasn't very busy tonight. He pulled up a chair beside me, his eyes practically glowing with curiosity. So, does that Laura know you and Gregory? I sipped the warm porridge and blinked. She knows me, but she doesn't know Dr. Gregory. Tony nodded. Oh, then I just saw her stop Gregory again, asking him to stitch her wound. A surge of irritation rose in my chest. To put it bluntly, Gregory had his own responsibilities. He only helped earlier out of consideration for Tony, but now Laura was clearly trying to latch onto that connection. Chapter 6. I had only just met Gregory, yet I'd already caused him so much trouble. I felt really bad about it. Seeing my expression, Tony thought I was jealous and said, Don't worry about it. Gregory's basically a 1,000-year-old iron tree. He never blossoms. He rejected her on the spot. Then he muttered quietly. He even said he'd been drinking and his hands were too shaky to stitch. I swallowed a mouthful of porridge and said, But he didn't seem like he drank. Tony made a sound of realization. He made it sound so real too, something about a Jaeger bomb. I've never even tried that. I froze, then suddenly choked and started coughing violently. He didn't drink. I did. And he kissed me. Tony chuckled. I told you to eat slowly. Kids never listen. Just then, someone called him from outside, and he hurried off. After finishing the porridge, I curled up under the blanket, ready to rest for a while. The curtain was suddenly pulled open. Noah's voice rang out. Joanna, I bought you something to eat. You must be starving, right? For the first time, I found him unbearably annoying. I opened my eyes to see that his wound had already been stitched. He sat down beside my bed, his gaze filled with that same familiar, overflowing tenderness. I got you some Coke, and a few burgers. I glanced at it, a whole KFC bucket meal. I closed my eyes again, not wanting to deal with him. Anyone with half a brain wouldn't bring something like this at this time. In this place, Laura must have wanted it. And Noah, used to tossing me scraps of attention and kindness, probably brought me a share out of habit, knowing I'd cling to him over something like this. Suddenly, I didn't even feel like telling him my stomach hurt and I couldn't eat. Seeing that I wasn't responding, Noah grabbed my hand. Joanna, come home with me this weekend. My parents are here. I tried to pull my hand away but couldn't. He continued. I've thought it through. I love you. Let's get married. I'll take care of you from now on. If he had said this just one day earlier, I would have been completely swept off my feet and thrown myself into his arms. But now, my stomach churned violently. I leaned over the side of the bed and threw up. Noah panicked. What's wrong with you? I wanted to say, are you blind? The diagnosis is written right there. I pushed him away and said hoarsely, Go find your Laura. That was the truth, without even any emotional exaggeration. Joanna, I know you're angry. Don't make a scene. okay? My anger surged. Suddenly, the curtain was pulled open again. Tony rushed in, scolding. What are you doing? Can't you see the IV's backflowing? Get out! Stop causing trouble. He shoved Noah out and helped steady my breathing. This won't do. I'm taking you to Gregory's lounge. I struggled to sit up. No, it's fine. I don't want to trouble. We're all on the same side here. Don't be polite. Tony quickly gathered my things and pushed me up to the 12th floor. Neurosurgery. Next to the doctor's lounge was a small private room. A label was posted on the door, Gregory. He unlocked it skillfully and pushed me inside. I checked. Gregory's still in surgery. He'll come find you when he's done. Gregory's room was spotless. The air carried the faint scent of disinfectant, and the bed was neatly made. There was a watch on the desk, and his coat from earlier was draped over the back of a chair. Tony enthusiastically spread out the bedding for me. Make yourself comfortable. At first, I sat carefully at the edge of the bed, but the illness overwhelmed me, and I gradually curled up under the covers. The bedding smelled the same as Gregory. Clean, fresh, like a light shampoo scent. Chapter 7. I picked up my phone and, on a whim, tried connecting to a random Wi-Fi. To my surprise, it actually worked. Instantly, my WeChat exploded, notifications flooding in with a red 99+. Half of them were from Noah, asking where I was. I didn't bother reading them. Scrolling down, I saw a message from my best friend, Joanna. You're amazing. You got the dream guy that fast? You owe me dinner. Further down was a message from my mom, sent just a few minutes ago. It was already 2 a.m. I pressed my lips together and called her. Thank goodness. Joanna, where have you been? Your dad and I were so worried. My nose stung. I had wanted to hold it in, but the moment I heard my family's voices, all the grievances I had suppressed came flooding out. Mom, I choked out, crying. There was a pause on the other end before my dad snatched the phone. What happened? Who bullied you? I'll book a ticket right now. I'll be there in a few hours. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I sobbed. It's nothing. I just suddenly missed you guys. My mom paused, then sighed in relief. You scared me. You're out there alone. Take care of yourself. If things get too hard, just come home. Your dad can support you with his pension. I let out a teary laugh. At that moment, the door suddenly opened, with tears and snot all over my face. I locked eyes with Gregory. He was wearing surgical scrubs under a white coat. Tall and composed, he had that restrained, almost untouchable charm. Gregory paused for a moment, then quietly closed the door behind him. He walked over naturally, placed his hand against my forehead, and asked, "Why are you crying?" I froze. My phone chimed, the call ended. The next second, a video call request popped up. I panicked. If my parents saw that I wasn't at home, and worse, that I was alone in a room with a man, they would probably rush over overnight. What's wrong? He asked. My parents. Answer it. I'll handle it. Gregory had absolutely no idea what danger he was stepping into. He calmly turned on a thermometer and slipped it into my mouth. And so, during the video call, my parents ended up staring at Gregory the entire time while he did all the talking. Uncle, Auntie, I'm pursuing Joanna. I had surgery today. She came to see me. Yes. Our staff lounges are separated by gender. No, we're not sleeping together. I just came to check on her after surgery. By the time the call ended, my parents were grinning from ear to ear, practically dreaming about future grandchildren. I was still in a daze when Gregory said, "Open your mouth." He took out the thermometer, glanced at it, and frowned slightly. You have a fever. Haven't been drinking water? I let out a small sound, lacking confidence. I forgot. After all the chaos with Noah, how could I remember something like that? Gregory sighed. Go to sleep early. I'll take you to get a new SIM card tomorrow. My eyes widened. No need. I can handle it myself, Joanna. Gregory suddenly looked at me seriously, his tone firm. Maybe you didn't listen carefully to what I said earlier. I had always been intimidated by doctors. The moment his expression hardened, I froze. Gregory said, I told your parents that I'm pursuing you, so give me a chance. Boom. Fireworks exploded in my mind. So he hadn't just said it to brush off my parents. He meant it. My face turned red in the mirror. I stammered. What do you even like about me? Gentle, well-behaved, pretty, considerate, does that count? Gregory paused, then added with a faint smile. Anyway, you're pretty cute when you curse. Chapter 8. The one and only time in my life I called someone an idiot. And he just happened to hear it. He patted my head. You sleep here tonight. I'll stay next door. Huh? I'd always been known for being pretty resilient. By the next morning, I was already full of energy again. Since Gregory had been called in for emergency overtime the night before, the hospital gave him a day off today. When I walked out of his room, quite a few doctors and nurses looked at me with knowing, almost teasing smiles. It wasn't until much later, after Gregory and I got married, that I found out people in the department had made a bet that Gregory wouldn't get married before 30. The ones smiling at me back then were the group who bet that he would. They even won a luxurious seafood buffet because of it. Of course, that's a story for later. When I went to get a new SIM card, the staff asked if I wanted to report the old one lost and recover it. I thought about it. Too many of my accounts were still linked to that number, so I nodded. Miss, your current couple plan isn't very cost-effective. You might want to consider upgrading. On the way there, I had already explained things to Gregory. After all, I had truly loved Noah for 5 years, secretly and openly, and only last night had I decided to walk away from that mess. If Gregory felt uncomfortable about it, I would understand. Gregory's expression didn't change. He simply asked, "Can it be relinked?" The staff blinked. Relinked? In what sense? Switch to a different boyfriend. The look on her face basically said, I have never heard such a bizarre request in my life. Half an hour later, Gregory and I walked out of the service hall. He lowered his head, fiddling with something on his phone. I leaned over curiously. Dr. Gregory, what are you doing? Setting a shortcut and memorizing your number. I suddenly felt a bit ashamed of myself. It was like that top student in class, not only naturally good, but also working harder than everyone else. I quickly took out my phone and copied what he did. Gregory smiled. Relax. Don't be so tense. Relax? I'm already nervous out of my mind. Okay? He walked me to the entrance of my apartment building, handed me my bag and a box of fried rice. Go home and rest properly. Call me if anything comes up. I'll let you know before I go into surgery. My replies might be slow. Don't overthink it. No one had ever spoken to me with such patience and care before. Maybe this was what my best friend meant by a sense of security. My heart was pounding wildly. I nodded shyly. Okay. Gregory watched me go upstairs before leaving. I stepped out of the elevator, still feeling light and happy, only to see Noah leaning against the wall, hearing the noise. He looked up. He looked worn out, with dark circles under his eyes. Joanna, you're back. My face turned cold. I immediately turned around and tried to get back into the elevator. Noah rushed over and blocked the door. Joanna, don't be mad. Let's make up. Why would I be mad? Did you do something wrong to me? I stared at him, forcing him to admit it himself, that he cheated, and that he mocked and humiliated me in front of his friends. Noah took a deep breath. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have ordered you the cheapest lunch plan. I instantly thought of the card that listed the A, B, and C packages. My anger exploded. He actually did something like that. And that was the least of the things he'd done wrong to me. Noah, are you insane? I shoved him away and quickly pressed the elevator button, but he still squeezed inside. Fuming, I stormed out to the entrance of the residential complex, where there were the most people. I stopped, turned around to face him, and suddenly started hitting him repeatedly with my handbag. You psycho! Shameless! You cheating jerk! How dare you come looking for me? Noah was stunned at first. Then anger flared up. He grabbed my bag tightly. Joanna, I'm giving you a way out here. Don't be ungrateful. A way out from you? Please! I can walk away on my own. Chapter 9. The neighbors around me all knew me. Seeing the commotion, they quickly gathered to break it up. Young man, I'm warning you, Don't lay a hand on her. Let go. Keep this up and we're calling the police. Noah gritted his teeth, his face twisted with anger. I'm her boyfriend. Stay out of this. Whose boyfriend are you? A calm voice came from behind the crowd, effortlessly silencing everyone. A hand reached through the gaps between people, sliding past my neck and pulling me back. My back collided with a firm chest. I looked up. Gregory had come back. I'm her boyfriend, he said. In my entire life, I had never imagined a dramatic scene of two men fighting over one woman would happen, in a neighborhood where the main hobbies were square dancing and playing chess. Embarrassed, I lowered my head and tugged at Gregory. Stop it. Let's go. But Noah refused to let it go. You all saw it, this woman. She's too timing. I didn't expect him to twist the story like that. Furious, I opened my chat history and shoved it toward him. Come on, Noah, if you're a man, read it out loud. It was that message of his. I've never even slept with her. Why would you think we're together? Noah's face turned ugly the moment he saw the screenshot. I swiped again. To be honest, I'm not even attracted to her. Enough. This time, it wasn't Noah who spoke. Gregory, his expression cold, took my phone from my hand and looked at Noah. You call yourself a boat? The older neighbors, sharp-eyed from years of experience, quickly pieced everything together. So you didn't even like her, but kept stringing her along. Now she has a boyfriend, and you can't accept it? Where were you when it mattered? That's pathetic. Noah was humiliated beyond words. His face shifted between pale and red as he finally left in disgrace. Gregory gently patted my head. Don't live here anymore. Move. Move? Easier said than done. I had worked really hard to find this place in the first place. Seeing my hesitation, he added, a colleague of mine just bought a place, planned to use it after getting married, but he hasn't found the right person yet. So he's renting it out. Dr. Tony? Yeah. Then, ask him? Gregory called him directly, asked about it, and after hanging up said, it's still available. Rent is $1,700 a month. Is that okay? If not, I can negotiate for you. I nodded. For a new apartment, $1,700 was already a very low price. The landlady of my old place was very kind. When she heard I was being harassed, she waived the penalty fee and even said, a young girl should have a boyfriend. Otherwise, who'll protect you if someone bullies you? I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Still, I insisted on giving her the penalty fee anyway. A few days later, I moved. Gregory had surgery and couldn't come. Tony came instead. He helped out enthusiastically, as if he were moving his own place. The apartment was a one-bedroom unit, fully furnished and newly renovated. Tony was muttering to himself inside the room while I swept the living room. When I looked up, a woman had walked in. She was stunning, elegant, graceful, carrying the aura of a refined, intellectual beauty. Tony came out, and the three of us stood there, staring at each other. The woman curled her lips slightly. This is what you brought me here to see? Tony's face instantly turned pale. No. Wait. Let me explain. The woman gave a faint smile and walked away without another word. I stood there awkwardly. Is she your girlfriend? Tony hurriedly put on his coat. Almost. I've gotta go. Just wait for Gregory tonight. Before I could ask anything, he had already disappeared out the door. I didn't understand why he told me to wait for Gregory, so I closed the door and continued tidying up. Around 7 p.m., my phone rang. It was a message from Gregory. Open the door. I rushed over and opened it. Gregory stood at the doorway, holding bags of vegetables and fruit. He handed them to me. Picked these up on the way. Take them. Still confused, I accepted them. The door was wide open. Then I saw Gregory turn his back to me, take out a key, and unlock the door across the hall. So he lived right across from me. Chapter 10. I stood there blankly, watching Gregory insert his key into the lock. But after several minutes, the door still wouldn't open. I licked my dry lips and cautiously asked, do you want to come in for a bit? Gregory pulled out the key cleanly, turned around, and walked back. Sure. Huh? There was pork ribs stewing in my pot, and rice still cooking. I had accidentally made enough for two anyway. I'll add another dish. Give me a minute, I said. Gregory changed into slippers and stopped me. I'll do it. You can cook? Gregory glanced at me. Shouldn't I be able to? To be fair, Noah's C-tier meal plan had left me with some serious psychological trauma. Gregory tied on an apron with ease, washed vegetables, chopped ingredients, heated the pan, poured oil, every movement smooth and practiced. Done in one go. Pass me the meat, he said. I snapped out of it. Oh, okay. It was my first time assisting someone in the kitchen. It felt strangely wonderful, just standing there, following his instructions. Before long, the dishes were ready and served. This was probably our first time eating at the same table. I raised my cup of tea in place of wine. Dr. Gregory, thank you for everything you've done for me. Sitting across from me, Gregory raised an eyebrow slightly. You're welcome. The atmosphere fell into awkward silence. I lowered my head and focused on eating when suddenly, a piece of rib was placed into my bowl. Any plans this weekend? He asked. I shook my head. I had been staying up late finishing a project for days, and it was finally wrapping up. For once, I had nothing scheduled. Where do you want to go? An amusement park. After saying it, I braced myself for him to laugh. To Noah, places like that were for little girls, a complete waste of time. Just because I had once watched fireworks there, he had complained about it for ages. Honestly, I wasn't sure Gregory would like that kind of place either. All right, I'll get the tickets. And just like that, on Saturday, I found myself actually standing at the entrance of an amusement park. Gregory was dressed casually. Not long after we entered, he was already holding several balloons. He glanced at someone wearing a Stella Lou headband and asked me, "Do you want one?" I hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Yes. Gregory smiled, bought one, and personally placed it on my head. It suits you. There weren't many people that day, so the lines were short. I grabbed Gregory's hand and ran around the park, completely carefree. It felt like I hadn't felt this way in a long time. I pointed toward a roller coaster. Let's go there. But when I turned back, Gregory had just hung up a call. He sighed, his expression apologetic. Joanna, I need to go back to the hospital. I paused. My hand slowly dropped. I scratched my head awkwardly. Oh, okay, you go ahead. After all these years, I was already used to scenes like this. Gregory suddenly walked over and gently ruffled my hair. Remember the restaurant I pointed out earlier? Yeah, if you get hungry, go eat something. I blinked. I know, don't go near water rides. You might catch a cold. Okay, keep an eye on your valuables. If anything happens, find a police officer. I nodded seriously. Dr. Gregory, I'm an adult. I'll be fine. Gregory seemed like he wanted to say more but stopped himself. I looked at him, amused. Any more instructions, doctor? He glanced at the time, then suddenly grabbed my hand. Do you mind having one more boyfriend? He asked it so urgently, as if I might disappear if he waited even a second longer. My face burned instantly. I stammered. No. Gregory let out a soft laugh. No rush. Wait for me to come back. Chapter 11. I sat in the restaurant for the entire afternoon, restless, distracted. During that time, Noah called me. After rejecting the call 3 times with no success, I finally answered impatiently. Noah's voice came through immediately. Joanna, you moved? Yeah. Where to? I'll come find you. I paused, then asked, why are you looking for me? Noah suddenly said, Joanna, you don't actually think Gregory really likes you, do you? Why would he? What about you is worth liking? You've only known each other a few days, you don't even understand each other. But I've known you for years. Joanna, you're naive, kind, easy to fool. If I hadn't been protecting you all these years, you would have suffered a lot. His tone was gentle, firm, convincing. Even if he likes you now, can you be sure he'll always like you? That he'll marry you? Don't be naive. Joanna, come back to me. My parents are at home right now. I'll take you to meet them. give you a promise. We'll get married. After listening, I took a deep breath. Finished your last words? There was an awkward choking sound on his end. I hung up immediately and blocked every single way he could contact me. Noah had always used this method, belittling me, undermining me, and only now did I realize it was all just his way of controlling me. I decided I didn't need to wait for the fireworks anymore. When I rushed to the hospital, I ran straight into Gregory, who had just finished surgery. He rubbed his forehead, looking exhausted. When he saw me, his expression shifted to surprise. I must have looked ridiculous. A Stella Lou headband on my head, 3 balloons tied to my hand, and a childish teddy bear backpack on my shoulders. People nearby started laughing. Gregory, you're lucky. Your girlfriend even came to pick you up after surgery. He took out a tissue and wiped the sweat from my forehead. Why are you here? I was going to find you. I gathered all my courage, my face burning red, and blurted out, I don't mind you being my boyfriend. From the office nearby, laughter practically exploded. Gregory cleared his throat lightly and took my hand. All right, I got it. When we left, I was carrying a whole box of milk drinks and a giant watermelon, gifts from Gregory's colleagues, who said it was better for me to take them than leave them in the office. On the way back, Gregory glanced at me a few times. You didn't have to come back. There were still fireworks tonight. They're beautiful. Sitting in the passenger seat, I rested my chin on my hand and looked out the window. Noah called me earlier. Said I don't truly like you, right? Gregory said it so casually, yet it hit exactly what I had been worrying about. I lowered my head, staying silent. After being hurt by someone, it's hard to love someone again without fear. The words I had just said earlier, they were my biggest gamble, my bravest step. Joanna, do you know what you were doing the first time I saw you? I pressed my lips together. Drinking? Gregory smiled. At the hospital, your payment receipts were scattered all over the floor, and you were crouching down, picking them up one by one. I suddenly remembered that unforgettable moment. Noah's stomach illness had flared up. I had been busy with work, stayed up all night, and rushed to the hospital early the next morning to take care of him. Dizzy from exhaustion, I had fallen, dropping all the receipts, delaying things, and getting scolded by Noah afterward. Gregory continued. A young girl, picking them up, and then suddenly bursting into tears. He said he had never seen anyone cry with that much quiet grievance before. After that, he saw me a few more times, squeezed in crowds collecting medicine, or exhausted from lining up. My eyes red from lack of sleep. Once, I even bumped into him and apologized timidly with my head lowered. I knew how terrible I had been back then, living in a fantasy of love, like a moth flying into a flame. You know Amy's boyfriend, right? He asked. I nodded. He's my classmate. My eyes widened in surprise. The world really was small. So your story. I heard it from Amy. Gregory stopped the car at a traffic light and looked at me seriously. I've seen what you look like when you smile, in her social media posts. I like you like that. My heart started racing. Then, at the bar, oh, Amy told me you'd be there. I just wanted to see how you were doing. Gregory smiled. But then she said you were single. I had no reason not to make a move. Then when you kissed me, sorry, that was on purpose. Chapter 12. Not long after Gregory and I got together, my parents rushed over, and just like that, he met them completely unprepared. Fortunately, everything went smoothly. The very next day, Gregory even brought his own parents over. Both families met, shared a simple meal together, and just like that, our marriage was settled. With such good news ahead, I felt lighter and brighter than ever. My proposal at work got approved, and after the new year, a promotion and raise seemed within reach. One day, as I passed by the building downstairs, someone handed me a small promotional card. It looked oddly familiar. After thinking for a moment, wasn't this the same homemade lunch Laura had been showing off? Ever since what happened, she had been making snide remarks toward me. Lately, she had been especially eager to brag about Noah taking her to meet his parents. I knew how suffocating Noah's parents were with their constant pressure for marriage. When he couldn't latch on to me anymore, He turned to Laura instead. One day at work, I caught Laura going through my things. That meal subscription card was accidentally revealed. Half an hour later, the hallway echoed with Laura yelling over the phone. I later heard that she stormed into Noah's company and exposed everything in front of everyone, even listing exactly how many women he had in his contacts. In the end, the two of them got into a physical fight, were detained, and both lost their jobs as a result. That night, I told Gregory about it like gossip. He sat by the bed, drying my hair with a hairdryer, occasionally responding with a quiet mem. Eventually, he simply silenced me with a kiss. This piece of gossip indirectly caused me to oversleep the next morning, almost making me late for our appointment at the Civil Affairs Bureau. On the way there, I sat in the passenger seat, quietly complaining. Gregory just smiled, saying nothing. I looked out the window at the scenery rushing past, and suddenly understood. Love, in the end, finds its way to everyone. Extra Chapter 1. The clock had just passed midnight when I finally lifted my head from the densely packed PPT on my screen. I had been working nonstop for an entire week to finish this proposal. I picked up my phone. It was my chat with Gregory. An entire day had gone by, and we had exchanged no more than 5 messages. Yawning, I sent him a cute cat sticker. Then I set my phone down and poured myself a glass of water. Suddenly, my phone chimed. Surprised, I walked over and saw that Gregory had replied in less than 10 seconds. Not asleep yet? I smiled. Just finished working. Gregory was on the night shift tonight. The next second, a video call came in. I hurriedly fixed my bangs before answering. Gregory's handsome face appeared on the screen. My face flushed again, and I spoke softly, almost like a whisper. Why aren't you asleep either? Just got out of surgery. After being together for so long, even silence between us didn't feel awkward anymore. I lay on the desk, staring at the screen and smiling foolishly. I couldn't help but start talking. Today when I went out to buy groceries, I saw a little kitten. Last time at the pet shop, the owner gave me a bag of cat food, so I fed it. I want to go see it again tomorrow. It's really cute. Black and white, just a bit cautious. Oh. And also, when I passed by a furniture store, I went in for a look. There was this sofa that was so nice. Beep, beep, beep. My alarm went off, reminding me to sleep. Only then did I realize how late it was. Maybe I shouldn't be bothering Gregory with all these trivial things. So I stopped talking. Gregory suddenly asked, "What does it look like?" Huh? The sofa. I hadn't expected him to be listening so carefully. I smiled. It's beige. Really big, you'd definitely like it. Aw, I can't describe it properly. Go get some rest, Gregory said. All right, tomorrow when I get home, I'll take you to try on wedding dresses. We had been so busy this month that we kept postponing it. Blushing, I said okay. Just before hanging up, I quickly leaned toward the screen and said, "Love you." Then I immediately ended the call, because of that one sentence. The next morning, Gregory dug me out of bed while I was still half asleep. I hugged him and whined lazily. "I'm sleepy." Gregory smiled and kissed me. "You still have to go." All right. When it came to getting married, Gregory was completely unyielding. Even acting cute didn't work. I threw on a loose dress, slipped into sandals, and went out. Sitting in the passenger seat, Gregory handed me a ham pancake and placed a cup of soy milk beside me. "Have a bite first." I turned to him. "Did you eat?" "No." I split open the plastic bag and held the ham pancake up to his mouth. "Then take a bite." Gregory glanced at me, and actually took a big bite. I pulled it back and froze. "Hey, my sausage. You ate the whole piece. You held it at the wrong angle." I glared at him resentfully. Gregory just smiled and started the car. Extra Chapter 2. When we arrived at the bridal shop, it was 8:30 in the morning. Gregory had already made an appointment. I walked in holding half a ham pancake. The shop assistant saw me and covered her mouth as she laughed. "Miss, you can finish your breakfast first. We'll be doing your makeup later." Afraid of making others wait, my face flushed red. I stuffed the food into Gregory's hand and said, "I'm done eating. I can do the makeup now." The staff at the bridal shop were very professional. Once the makeup was done, It looked delicate and beautiful, countless times better than anything I could do myself. I picked out a champagne gold off-shoulder gown, with a wavy hemline. The assistant said, "Miss, you have great taste. This is our signature piece. Perfect for someone with your figure. And your skin is so fair, you can pull off any color." Her praise made me feel shy. After changing into it, even I was stunned by my own reflection. The wedding dress was truly beautiful. The assistant smiled and said, 99% of brides react like this when they see themselves in a wedding dress. But the groom's reaction is always different. With that, she pulled open the curtain. Gregory was sitting on the sofa in a suit. A beam of light streamed in through the large floor-to-ceiling window. I stood on the platform, unable to see his expression, so nervous that I didn't know where to put my hands. He stood up. He walked over. He said, "This one, huh? That's it? We're choosing this one already?" Gregory lowered his head. In his dark eyes, my reflection appeared, his gaze gentle yet intense. "You look beautiful." Then he leaned down, close to my ear, and whispered, "If there weren't so many people watching, I would kiss you." My face instantly flushed red, even my ears burning hot. The assistant covered her mouth and said, "Sir, if you've decided on this one, we'll take your wife to get her measurements." Gregory nodded. I had lost some weight recently. Even the smallest size was a bit loose, so the designer would need to take in the waist. As we were leaving, I suddenly remembered my ham pancake and asked him for it. Gregory replied casually, "I ate it." I shot him a reproachful look. "You didn't even leave me the last bite." Gregory was fastening my seatbelt. Hearing that, he braced one hand and trapped me in the small space. Staring at me, classmate Joanna, "Are you sure you want to argue with me over a ham pancake?" Arguing, for us, that was a rather unfamiliar word. My cautious tone carried an excitement I couldn't hide. Would you get angry?" Gregory said, "After seeing you in that wedding dress, every word you say just makes me want to kiss you more." A strange sense of danger suddenly rose within me. I covered my mouth and shook my head. "No, don't, it all smells like ham pancake." Gregory burst out laughing. "I'll take you to eat something warm first. Then we'll go to the pet shop." I froze for a moment, staring at him blankly. "I figured you wanted to adopt that cat, so we'll buy some pet supplies." "What? You don't want to?" I nodded frantically. I do. Husband, you're the best." As soon as the last sentence came out, both of us froze. To be honest, I really didn't want to admit that I had called him husband in my dreams before. Gregory's lips curled slightly. Call me that from now on." In the golden autumn of October, Gregory and I got married. The colleagues who had bet that he wouldn't get married before turning 30 lost miserably, and made sure to pour him plenty of drinks. I felt bad for him and tried several times to take his place, but was stopped each time. He said, "If the price of marrying you is getting drunk by them, I'm more than willing." I had once imagined what it would be like to wear a wedding dress and get married. When that day finally came, I nearly burst into tears several times. On the big screen was our family portrait, Gregory and me, my parents, and a black and white kitten, and Gregory held my hand, leading me step by step toward happiness.